Once upon a time, in a beautiful and lush forest, with the shade of trees, the fragrance of colorful flowers filled the air. There lived a clever rabbit named Benny. Benny was known throughout the forest for his quick thinking and cleverness. He always helped the other animals, and his wisdom and intelligence were unmatched. On the other hand, there lived a foolish fox named Flix. Flix was often tricked by other animals due to his greed and foolishness. One day, Flix felt particularly hungry and decided that he would catch Benny for lunch. He thought, "This rabbit is always hopping around. Today, I will finally catch him." Flix came with a clever plan and set off toward his prey. Flix hid behind a bush and waited for Benny to pass by. He sat quietly, watching and waiting for the rabbit to come closer. After a while, Benny hopped along and Flix stayed stuck from behind the bush. Benny immediately noticed it, but instead of panicking, he thought, "If I scare him off, he'll become my meal." Benny approached the bush and called out, "Oh Flix, I just heard that a giant carrot is growing in the meadow. It's the biggest carrot anyone has ever seen." Flix's eyes perked up. "A giant carrot? Wait, I must have it," he exclaimed, his hunger and greed cuddling his judgment. He immediately forgot about catching Benny and followed him eagerly. Benny said, "Follow me, but be careful. There are many traps set by other animals to catch foolish fox like you." Flix didn't pay much attention to the warning and, driven by his greed, followed Benny. Benny led Flix toward a trap. He brought him to a meadow where other animals had dug a deep pit to catch greedy foxes like Flix. Benny quickly hopped into burrow to hide, and Flix, blinded by his desire for the carrot, fell into the pit. "Help, get me out," Flix cried, realizing that he had been outsmarted. Benny peeked out from the burrow and laughed. "Flix, you should have thought before acting. Sometimes being clever is better than being greedy." Soon, other animals gathered around the pit and laughed at Flix's misfortune. They all knew that Benny had taught Flix an important lesson. Flix realized his mistake and promised that he would never act out of greed again. The other animals helped him out of the pit. Flix apologized to Benny, saying, "You've taught me a great lesson. I will always think before I act." Benny smiled and said, "That's right, Flix. Never let your greed get you into trouble." From that day on, Flix began to think carefully before acting, trying to be as clever and wise as Benny. He learned that cleverness and wisdom were far better than greed. And so, peace returned in the forest. All the animals lived happily, using their intelligence and wisdom. And they all lived happily ever after. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Little Story Explorers for more fun and exciting tales. Your support means the world to us. See you in the next adventure.